Good morning, greetings, friends, and welcome to The Bright Side, your nutritional program dedicated to the understanding of a vast world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. I'm your host, Pharmacist Ben, nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado. I use nutritional supplements where other healthcare practitioners use toxic pharmaceutical drugs and sometimes deadly medical procedures. If you suspect that there are natural nutritional roads to your health and vitality and well-being and to addressing your health challenges, whatever they may be, but you don't know where to begin, you have come to the right place. As you listen to The Bright Side every day, you are more and more in control of your body. You are more and more knowledgeable, and you know you can overcome any health challenge. That is why we are here every day on The Bright Side, helping clear up the sometimes confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Over the last 32 years of practicing pharmacy, I have seen drug-free recoveries from diabetes, hypertension, obesity, skin diseases like acne, psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, digestive ailments, autoimmune issues of all kinds. Recoveries that by the standards of modern medicine can only be called a miracle, but what is in the world of the body, what is in the world of biology, standard operating procedure. Because the human biological system is a healing system. It's a regenerating system. It is designed divinely to heal and renew itself on a moment-to-moment basis. And while some folks may call that a miracle, it really is just the way the body works. If you have questions about health, nutrition, prescription drugs, if you want to wean yourself off your meds and get on a good nutritional supplement program, I am here for you. On The Bright Side, 844-236-6010 is our number. We love hearing from you if you have a comment or success story you'd like to share. If you want to contribute to the conversation, if you have questions about the longevity products, our True Skin Health products, 844-236-6010 is our number. If you want to purchase longevity products, longevity products you hear advertised or recommended on The Bright Side, call 866-735-2470 or head to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com and click on the Join the Team link if you want to start a longevity business, be in business for yourself, and help spread the word about the power and importance of a good nutritional supplement program. Help your relatives if you got family members who are ill, if you've got a grandfather, grandmother, mother, father in a nursing home. There's no gift that's more valuable than the gift of nutritional supplementation. Call 866-735-2470 to purchase longevity products or to sign up to join the Brightside Ben team, or head to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. Okay, so we are talking about minerals, the periodic table, digestion, absorption. Basically, the last program we left off talking about the digestive system. We said that there's two phases to the digestive system. You got the mechanical phase, and then you got the chemical phase. The mechanical phase can help support the chemical phase. For most of us, as we get older, the chemical phase of digestion, which occurs in the stomach and the intestine at the crossroads where the gallbladder and the pancreas meet the intestine and the stomach, right at that area. As we get older, that process breaks down. It doesn't even happen to break down as we get older. It happens it can happen when we're born. It can happen as early as in utero, in the womb. And that affects everything down the road. Once the center of the body, once the core of the body is affected, it is a short jump to every chronic, long-term degenerative health challenge you can name. There's a reason why this area in the body, the center of the body, has always been respected as the body's power center. In China, in Chinese medicine, it's called the Dantian, your mysterious secret energy center. It's called Hara in Japanese medicine or Japanese culture, the Hara center. It's called the Kath in the Sufi tradition. The center of the body has always been respected as a seat of power. And for good reason. They didn't know when they were talking about the Dantian or the Hara or the Kath. They didn't know they were talking about the digestive system and where this whole all the digestive juices connect. Maybe they knew it, but that's not what they were talking about. But from a nutritional perspective, it makes perfect sense. At that core, at that level, the outside world becomes the inside world. The world of our environment, or of our outer environment, becomes the world of our inner environment. The food we eat turns into our body. The stuff we ingest becomes us, for better or worse. And it's right at that core where all the action is. And then just a little bit further south is really where the problems if you have a chronic long-term degenerative disease, it's really where the problems begin to show up. Got to understand exactly what's happening. So food drops from the stomach into the intestine. It gets hit with a big blast of pancreatic juices and bile. It liberates the nutrients. The nutrients go into the intestine. Now, from that point, lots of things have to go right if we're going to take advantage of our breakfast and our lunch and our dinner and our nutritional supplements for that matter. So the stuff gets into the intestine. It's now been liberated from the food. And what's supposed to occur, think of your intestine like a garden hose. First of all, you want to imagine a hose. You got the inside of the hose and the outside of the hose. The inside of the hose / intestine is like all other parts of the body, lined with cells. The outside of the hose is where the body really exists, where the bloodstream is. The hose itself is not technically part of the body yet. It doesn't become part of the stuff inside the hose, doesn't become part of the body until it crosses over into the bloodstream. That's where it all goes awry at a very early age if we are dealing with some kind of long-term chronic health problem. And that's what's meant by leaky gut. Nutrients are supposed to go in from the inside of the garden hose to the outside of the garden hose in a very controlled fashion. In fact, nutrients go from the inside of the garden hose to the outside of the garden hose through a hallway, through a portal. And that portal is made up of cells. The cells will actually take in the vitamins and the minerals, suck them up into themselves, and then pass them over to the outside of the garden hose or the outside of the hose. That's what's supposed to happen. However, because of nutritional deficiencies, poor lifestyle, chlorine in the water, all kinds of things that we do to mess up our intestinal environment, over the course of time, instead of these nutrients going through the hallway, they sneak in. They do an end around the cell. That's called leaky gut. That's what they mean by leaky gut, or technically speaking, intestinal permeability. Leaky gut syndrome is technically intestinal permeability syndrome, and I first started hearing about it in the late 1980s. They talked about it a little bit in pharmacy school, I remember. But I really didn't quite understand its impact until I started making a special drink for patients. I started to get prescriptions. Actually, I had a couple of alternative practitioners who were writing prescriptions for this special drink that I would make, and patients would drink it. And based on how much of the drink was passed through in their stool, or how much they were excreting, and their urine, I think it was the urine or the stool. I'm not even sure what it was. But in any case, they would measure the amount that was passing through their body and then measure the amount the patient drank, and the difference would tell you whether the patient had a leaky gut or not. So intestinal permeability or leaky gut syndrome is something that people have known about for a long time. It's something that alternative practitioners have known about at least 30 or 40 years. But it only recently become kind of a big thing as we understand more and more about the importance of intestinal health. I'm telling you guys, it's all about the intestine, and more we're discovering this. So I started making this stuff for this guy and the couple of chiropractors. I started to look into it, and I started to notice that almost always when there was leaky gut, there was also some other health challenge. And after a while, I just put one and one together, and I saw that most of the stuff we're suffering from begins at the level of the gut, begins at the level of leaky gut. You don't need to have a test done. If you have a chronic long-term illness, you can pretty much rest assured you've got some kind of intestinal porosity or intestinal permeability issue. And these leaks, if you will, this increase in intestinal permeability it causes nutritional deficiencies, and it's exacerbated by nutritional deficiencies. And this is where this downward spiral of ill health begins. And that's great news, because what that means is simply by working at that level, simply by working at the level of the intestine, at the level of the leaky gut, at the level of the crossroads, you can do dramatic things to reduce symptomology and to improve and even reverse chronic degenerative disease. And that is so, so important. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back right after this. Okay, we are back on The Bright Side. 844-236-6010 is our number. 844-236-6010. 6010, and we have lines open for you. Check out our Truth Skin Health products at truthtreatments.com. Truthtreatments.com. I just did a Facebook Live yesterday, and if you like our Facebook page or you follow us on Instagram, you'll be privy to our lives, and we'll let you know when we're having them. Yesterday we talked about exfoliation, how important that is. I consider exfoliation to be taking your skin to the gym. And anybody who tells you it's not a good idea to exfoliate doesn't know what they're talking about. And I hear that periodically, that, oh, you shouldn't exfoliate, it's not good for your skin, blah, 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 it thins your skin. Well, that's just a complete misunderstanding of how the skin works. There's so much baloney out there about the skin. Nonsense about the skin. Craziness. Do you know when you put a skincare product on, people think that they break out from skincare products? That doesn't happen. You don't break out from skincare products, people. Now, I don't know if I'm probably preaching to the choir on this, but in the skincare world, and there is actually a skincare community out there, people think that you break out when you put products on your skin. That doesn't happen unless you have an allergic reaction. Breakouts occur from the metabolism. This is the biggest misunderstanding we have about the skin. Skin health is metabolic health. Metabolic health is chemistry. It's the chemistry of the inner body, the blood. That's what health is about, people. It's about the blood. I don't care if it's skin health or the health of your bones or the health of your brain or the health of anything else. It's about the blood, and the blood becomes the blood at the level of the intestine. You do not break out from skincare products. It's an issue of dirty blood, like all health issues. All health issues are about dirty blood. How does the blood become dirty? At the level of the gut. All disease is cell disease. All cell disease is dirty blood, and all dirty blood is leaky gut. Leaky gut is behind everything. Leaky gut is behind everything. You know, when we finally understand this, you're not going to need me anymore. You're not going to need anybody anymore, any healthcare professional anymore, because you'll be able to fix yourself. Because if you have a chronic disease, that is, there's always going to be need for emergency surgery or emergency care. I understand this. But from a long-term chronic health perspective, which is where we drop dead far too early and break down earlier than that, it's all about the leaky gut. It's the focus. It should be the focus of everything. From Boston Medical Center, BMC Gastroenterology. This is published in 2014. Data are accumulating that emphasize the important role of the intestinal barrier and intestinal permeability for health and disease. We discuss selected diseases associated with increased internal permeability, including critical illness, inflammatory bowel disease, celiac disease, food allergy, irritable bowel syndrome, and more recently, obesity and metabolic diseases. The last one is the most interesting to me, metabolic diseases. That's what I'm talking about. Liver disease, high blood pressure, obesity, Alzheimer's disease. Cancer is a metabolic disease. These are all about the gut, all about the leaky gut. And when I talk about foods, I'm not talking about foods because I'm a foodie, because I'm not. I'm talking about it because you got to work on the gut. And once you work on the gut, the body will take care of itself for most of the time. And if you want to be on a nutritional supplement program, you want to make sure you're getting your mighty 90 essential nutrients for sure. Exercising, breathing, they're all important. Rest, they're all important in the fourfold square of health. But as far as taking care of your health, if you want to reverse a chronic disease, focus on the leaky gut. Think of all the ways that we destroy our gut bacteria. First of all, if you're not breastfed, because breast milk is where the gut bacteria are supposed to proliferate. The gut bacteria being a major determining factor of the health of the intestine. Leaky gut, in many ways, is a dysbiotic issue. It's an issue of messed up gut bacteria. There's more things that are involved for sure. Lectins from certain foods, gluten. Gluten is a lectin. You guys have probably heard of lectins. If you haven't, you're going to start hearing more and more about them. We've been talking about it for a while. Lectins are compounds that are found in plants that attack the intestine. Gluten is the classic example of a lectin that attacks the intestine. Long-term use of antibiotics kill off gut bacteria, can lead to inflammatory problems in the gut. Chlorine, sugar, fluoride. And keep in mind, as far as antibiotics go, you don't have to be on an antibiotic in order to be subjecting your intestine and your gut bacteria to antibiotics. Most antibiotics in this country are given to animals, because when animals are in factory farmed, they live in these super close quarters. They're more prone towards getting infections, so they give them antibiotics. Chickens, fish, cows. The vast majority of antibiotics, some 80% of antibiotics in this country, are for animals. So anyway, gut bacteria play a major, major role in keeping the and when I say gut, I mean intestine. Gut is the same as the intestine. So the intestinal bacteria, gut bacteria play a major role in keeping the intestinal healthy. The bacteria collectively in the intestine and throughout the body are actually considered to be an organ now. Just like they consider fat now to be an organ. We got to rethink what we consider to be organs. In other words, the gut bacteria act like a coherent whole, like your liver acts like a coherent whole. And one of the jobs of the gut bacteria is to secrete chemicals and to communicate to the cells. The bacteria that live in the intestine are in cross communication with the cells of the intestine. How amazing is this? Not only are they talking to each other, they're literally sharing genetic material. They're giving up their genes. There's actually extra genes in gut bacteria that act like a protein manufacturer or chemical manufacturing factories for our cells, specifically for the cells of the intestine. The gut bacteria act as epigenetic factors for the genetics of the cells of the intestine. They support the immune system. They're anti-inflammatory. Once you mess up your gut bacteria, it is 100% guaranteed that the lining of the intestine, the inner part of the garden hose, is going to be affected. There's no getting around it. And this intestinal area, right at the top, right where at the top of the intestine is where it all starts to go awry. The whole intestine really is where it starts to go awry. If you're dealing with autoimmunity, if you're dealing with heart disease, if you're dealing with cancer, diabetes, blood clots, hypertension, skin problems, arthritis, joint issues, heartburn, there's 100% likelihood that you have an issue with messed up gut bacteria and likely intestinal permeability issues. You don't need to be tested. Just assume you have leaky gut syndrome if you have any chronic long-term health challenge. And like I say, this begins for many of us at birth. This is where I got the idea of the triangle of disease. The triangle of disease are the 3 points that underlie all health challenges, and it starts off with the intestine, with the upper part of the intestine is where it starts off, but you can say the whole intestine, and really technically at the crossroads, right where the food drops into the intestines. For a lot of people, that's where it goes wrong, but it's hard to isolate it specifically. Just assume that upper part of the intestine is really where you want to be focusing on for health, and that means things like staying away from problem foods, intermittent fasting, probiotic supplements, apple cider vinegar and digestive enzymes, lecithin and ox bile. And there's a zillion different ways that you can work on your health at that level, and none of them require a doctor, and none of them require a prescription drug. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll be back on the bright side right after this. Okay, we're back on the bright side. Thanks for listening, friends. We're on the air Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific and 10 to 11 Central, 24/7 at brightsideben.com on the archive page, where you can purchase longevity products. You can also purchase them at criticalhealthnews.com and pharmacistben.com. We have videos and news stories and blog posts on our websites, brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, and criticalhealthnews.com. And check out our new bundles, 20% off when you bundle products for specific health challenges. Anti-aging, we have an anti-aging bundle, a skin lightening bundle, rosacea bundle. All our bundles are up at truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com. Never any preservatives, fragrances, fillers, waxes, emulsifiers, silicone oil, nothing your skin doesn't need or doesn't want in any of our Truth Skin Health products. Truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com. Okay, we've got a couple lines open, 844-236-6010. We'll get your calls here in just a sec from the journal Surgical Neurology. Omega-3 fatty acids from fish oil can be used as an anti-inflammatory, an alternative to non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs for pain. This was a study that was done, let's see, from March to June 2004, 250 patients who had been seen by a neurosurgeon and were found to have non-surgical neck or back pain were asked to take a total of 1,200 milligrams a day of omega-3 fatty acids found in fish oil supplements. They got a questionnaire. A month after starting to supplement, the results showed that compared to ibuprofen, omega-3s, that is from fish oil, demonstrated equivalent effect in reducing arthritic pain. NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, are not the worst drugs in the world, but they're still drugs. Non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, naproxen and Motrin are the two classic ones. Motrin's been around for a while. It came out in the late 1960s, kind of revolutionized the anti-inflammatory pain relief marketplace. Before then, Tylenol and aspirin were the only pain relieving drugs that you could take. Now, with Motrin, a whole new class of drugs were developed, started to come out, and in fairness, they work pretty darn well actually, and they're relatively non-toxic, but they're still drugs. And they still can cause problems with blood thinning, and they can still cause problems with the digestive tract, specifically the stomach. They're still drugs. When you take a nutrient and get the same effects, and by the way, essential fatty acids, omega-6 and omega-3, are the molecules of inflammation and anti-inflammation. So it's no surprise to a pharmacist that omega-3 fatty acids have anti-inflammatory properties. Probably not as strong as Motrin, but if you're going to need an anti-inflammatory for a long period of time, you may want to consider using omega-3 fatty acids. You may want to consider using vitamin E. You may want to consider using vitamin C. And you may want to consider figuring out what's causing the inflammation in the first place. That's really the issue when you have an inflammatory condition, whether it's arthritis or whether it's back pain or whether it's micro-inflammation. That's another important distinction, by the way, micro versus macro inflammation. Whenever you have inflammation, you have a protective response. We were talking earlier about the gut, about the intestine. Leaky gut syndrome is an inflammatory condition of the lining. It's a protective posture. The body goes into a protective posture or a protective mode that in the short term is beneficial, but in the long term is problematic. Even the pain that's caused by inflammation is a signal that something should be done. Not a signal, not something that you want to automatically suppress. Think about it. When we're in pain, our body's talking to us, and when we take a drug to suppress the pain, that's like telling the body to shut up. Now, don't get me wrong here. I'm all for pain pills, and I think we all should have access to them. But if you have chronic pain, there's something going on that needs to be addressed. If you have chronic pain, you only have two choices at that point. That's chronic medication, and that's an awful choice. Or figure out what the heck's going on. Now, that sometimes is easier said than done, I understand. But if you can backtrack far enough, you're pretty much always going to find something going on in the digestive system, either malabsorption of nutrients leading to malnourishment, or leaky gut syndrome leading to toxicity in the blood, which is what we'll finish talking about tomorrow. But one way or another, if you work at the level of the gut and you're dealing with an inflammatory condition, you'll be able to take care of the problem at the core, at the start, because almost all inflammatory conditions, with the exception of mechanical issues, are going to begin at that crossroads. The 4 points between the pancreas, the bile, the gallbladder, and the stomach, and then the intestine as well. Gallbladder, stomach, intestine, and pancreas, and then the upper part of the intestine where you absorb nutrients. Actually, the whole intestine where you absorb nutrients. All right. I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. Let's go to Patty in Minnesota and say good morning. What's up, Patty?
Hey, Ben.
Hey.
I have the beginning of a blasted bunion. So what do you know? Can I reverse it?
Oh,
yeah.
That's. How old are you?
I know.
When did you start to notice that the toe is you're getting a little bone there forming?
This side, yeah. And can I reverse it or at least stop the progression with diet?
Now, any issues with walking or your feet or anything like that?
With what?
Any issues with your feet or walking or shoes?
No pain. It's just the beginning. So
you just.
Can I wear good shoes?
Are you starting to see a little? Are you starting to see a little bump there?
Yes.
Is that how you know?
And
the big toe.
And I took a photo of my foot, and I sent it to my sister-in-law, who used to work for a podiatrist. I go, "What is this?"
Yeah, it's kind of strange looking. It usually has to do with how you're walking.
Heels, like ever.
You don't wear high heels. It usually has to do with how you're walking, or it can have it follows injuries.
Well,
it could be a type of
arthritis at work.
Do you know what pronation? Have you heard of this thing called pronation? Like pronate
No.
when you pronate, it has to do with how you hold your feet when you're walking. You know, have you noticed how you walk?
No.
Pronation is when you
walk.
Normal. Well, you might want to notice that pronation is when you walk towards your big toe, when you tilt a little bit.
Okay.
And it's like when your foot kind of rolls inward when you take a step. So watch how you're walking.
Huh.
That's the biggest thing that I would do. It's really a mechanical issue more than anything else. So if you're walking funny, that's going to you're not going to be able to stop it. So you might want to go to some chiropractor or somebody who can watch you walk. That's what I would be doing. And you're lucky you're catching it quickly. There's a way to walk that we take for granted. You know, babies don't take it for granted. It's a serious project for a kid. But by the time we get to, we're children and teenagers and adults, we're running and we're playing and we're not even thinking about it. But it's really kind of a complicated process. As we get older, if your body is out of kilt, your back maybe, your hips, which is very normal, it can change the way you walk. And so pronation or overpronation, that is where you're tilting too much, that could be a cause of it. It's tilting towards the toe. You're rolling a little bit inward with each step, basically. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yep.
So personally, I would be looking for gait, G-A-I-T, gait issues. You might also want to consider things that help anti-inflammatories and things that help build cartilage and bone. Glucogel caps, vitamin C, healthy start pack, ultimate EFAs. But I would be looking at the walking thing, the pronation thing. All right?
Okay. Thank you.
All right, Patty. Thank you. Let us know how you do. Appreciate your call. All right. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Got to take a break.
If you
We are back on the bright side, 844-236-6010. Let's go to Candy in Michigan. Good morning, Candy. What's going on?
Hi, Ben. I am a very healthy 66-year-old. Everybody thinks I'm a lot younger than I am. I don't take any medications except for my blood pressure.
What are you taking? What are you on?
I take lisinopril.
Okay.
And
how high is your blood pressure?
Oh, my blood pressure is very well controlled. It's,
but I mean, without lisinopril, how high was it?
Oh, it was as high as 170 over 100.
Okay. Gotcha.
And my white blood cell count has been dropping over the last 3 years, and it's down to 2,500.
Oh, okay.
It was 4,500 3 years ago, and I haven't been sick all winter. I feel really good, and I never take pain medication, and I'm just concerned about it, and wondering what I could do. I'm a real naturalist. Pardon me?
That's a little bit on the low side. That's actually pretty low.
Yeah.
So, couple things. First of all, I'd want to know why your blood pressure was so high, and because that could be an issue there. That shouldn't be that high. So that means you're spiking cortisol, stress hormone, I would guess. I don't think you'd have any heart problems.
I was 27. I've been on blood pressure medicine, and
that high, 170 over 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty high. That tells me there's something going on. That's first of all. Lisinopril can hide it, but lisinopril and drugs.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
A lot of stress in my life.
Yeah, that's where I would be going. Drugs can cause, they can affect the white blood cell count. Not so much like lisinopril, more like antibiotics, but it's possible. Having a low white blood cell counts is it's a sign that something's going on. If it's not drugs, and you feel really good, if you feel really good, I wouldn't worry about it too much, but it's pretty low. And I'm not sure. You say you feel really good, but I'm not sure. Maybe you're missing something in how you feel because it's not really. That's a sign of something when it's that low.
He's checking it again in a month.
Yeah. And that's probably what's he thinking that maybe the test is wrong?
Well, no, he thinks that he's got a few patients, he said, that have low white blood counts like this.
That's pretty low, though. That's pretty low.
He's observing them. Yeah, I know. And he said if it goes any lower, he'll probably send me to a hematologist.
Yeah, I would say there's something going on, but why don't you try and take care of the blood pressure without the drugs? Can you do that?
No, it hasn't worked.
Yeah,
my husband passed away 9 years ago, and I quit taking my blood pressure medicine for 3 years. Yeah. And I did fairly well, but my blood pressure was running high, and then my dad
I didn't say
away.
that. You misheard me or misunderstood me. I didn't say to stop taking the drugs. I said to work on your blood pressure without the drugs. That's different. In other words, take care of your blood pressure, whatever's causing the problem, or take care of the blood pressure on your own. Something's percolating in your body that you're hiding it with the drug. You may need the drug, but maybe you can work on things without the drug. I don't know. And I'm not saying to get off the drugs. I'm saying there's something going on in your body that you're not addressing. And now it seems to be, I don't know this for a fact, but it seems to be getting worse. You know what I'm saying? It started off with hypertension, and now it's going into deficiencies in white blood cells. So you're heading in the wrong direction.
Right.
Is what I'm saying. So
can extreme stress affect you?
Yeah, of course. Well, any extreme stress can cause anything, but it has to be extreme. Usually, for white blood cell for white blood cells, low white blood cell count to occur, you got to have an infection. God forbid, cancer, autoimmune issues, antibiotics can do it. Autoimmune like sarcoidosis. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. That can do it.
I'm a retired RN after 40
Okay, so then there you go. Sarcoidosis is one of the causes, autoimmunity, that kind of thing. There's something going on, is the bottom line there. I would, if you have it checked and it happens again, then you want to take some corrective measures. If you say you're not doing anything but the drugs, then it sounds to me like that might have something to do with it. Although lisinopril is one of the more benign drugs if you have to take a drug.
And there was two other things he wanted me to do because of the low white blood cell count, was to have a mammogram and a Cologuard test, and I'm kind of on the fence about those. Well,
because that cancer, cancer is one of the things that precedes that, so, it might be something that you want to think about. Don't do a mammogram, do a thermogram. Do you know what those are?
Okay.
Yeah, do a thermogram. Yeah, women should be using thermograms rather than mammograms. You can detect things earlier with a thermogram, and also it's not radiation. It's heat. It's rather than just X-rays.
Yeah, very good. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks a lot.
Well, thanks for listening. So when did you retire? You don't sound that. You sound. You said you're 60.
3 years ago.
What kind of nursing did you do?
I was getting patients ready for surgery and recovering them, and then I worked in a big outpatient unit in the hospital. And
nice. And you listen to The Bright Side. You like the stuff we talk about
Yes, I've been
here.
listening to for a long time. My dad was a pharmacist, and
okay, that's awesome.
I've been a naturalist, and holistic health for a long time, and supplement-wise, or I've been studying nutrition and
good for you.
White blood cells and everything. Any one thing in particular besides leaky gut, and I take prebiotics and probiotics.
Leaky gut is definitely that's behind everything. Did you get what I was saying about that? Like, can you think of something that doesn't involve leaky gut somewhere?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like behind everything, right?
Yeah, makes sense.
No, that's to me.
And my doctor, because of the white blood cell count, he put me on a really super good probiotic. Yeah.
What did he put you on?
Something. Oh gosh, hang on a second.
Was it a prescription? A prescription
right here.
probiotic?
It's something that he has. He's got his own line of. He told me to take B6. That's really good for your immune system.
All the B vitamins, but it sounds like your doctor's on the right track. Do you have a history of gut issues?
No, not really. I pretty much have an iron stomach.
Okay, gotcha.
It's called Ultra Flora Synergy.
And it's his own brand?
Yep, it's a pre and probiotic in a powder by Metagenics. You take it in water.
Are you noticing anything with stools or bowel movements or?
I think so. Yeah. I was good before, but I think I'm better now.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for your call. Appreciate it, and good luck. Let us know how you're doing.
I appreciate it, Ben.
If you don't mind calling back, let me know what they find out, because I'm kind of curious about that.
That'll be in a month.
Okay. All right, good.
All right,
Bye,
I will. Thank you. Bye.
All right. Yeah, white blood cells are part of the immune system, as most of you guys know. And white blood cell counts that are low, that's something's going on when that happens. Especially, it sounded like hers was significantly low. All right, let's go to Dorian in Virginia. Hey, Dorian. What's up, buddy?
How are you doing?
Hi. I'm doing good.
I'm well,
What's going on?
Well, I wanted to find out from you your best clay to consume.
Clays are interesting. I'd be doing bentonite. Personally, I would be doing bentonite clay.
Okay.
Is the kind of clay I would be doing. But they're all different in the sense that I kind of got off of talking about clays. I'm not done talking about clays. And eating clay is definitely, I'm a supporter of clay eating. Let's put it that way. And bentonite is the most common kind of clay that's eaten. But there are all kinds of different clays, and they vary in their mineral content and the types of minerals they have in them. So you got to play around with it. I also like a clay that is made in Wyoming called Redmond clay, or is mined in Wyoming, I should say, called Redmond clay, Redmond. You have to play with it a little bit. But plain old bentonite clay is a good way to go, and you can get that in health food stores. It's great for your skin, topically that is. But there's exotic clays and various colors of clays, and they all vary in terms of their mineral content. So you may benefit more from one clay or another, but it's kind of experimental.
Should I get it pre-mixed, or should I get
get the powder, put it in water, and drink it down, and it looks like hell. It looks like a puddle of dirty water. It looks like just a mud puddle, but it is shockingly delicious.
Okay.
It's really, really tasty stuff. It's super detoxifying. It's a good source of one of nature's most important and underappreciated minerals, and that's something called silica, or silicon, technically. Clays contain various forms of silicon, and not silicone. Silicone's different, but silicon, the element on the periodic table, is unbelievably important for the connective tissue and very, very underrated. Very hard to find it as a nutritional supplement. I only know of one company that makes it, but bentonite clay is a good source of silicon. So it's great for your skin, hair, nails, and also your connective tissue, in addition to being wonderfully detoxifying and a good source of minerals. Okay, that's it, Dorian. Gotta go, my friend. Thanks for your call. Appreciate it. And thank you to all my Brightside listeners. Don't forget to check out our websites, brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, and criticalhealthnews.com for the longevity products, and Truth Skin Health products can be had at truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com. Have yourselves a wonderful, beautiful, awesome, spectacular day. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We'll talk to y'all later, folks. Bye for now.